In a world of glitz and glam, flashing lights and screaming fans, most people are unaware of the war that rages behind the scenes. And that war includes your favorite artist and your favorite songs. This is The Dark Side of Songwriting. Hosted by Nayim Edwards.
Welcome to The Dark Side of Songwriting. My name is Nayim Edwards and I'm your host. We are back today for part 2 of Jennette McCurdy, just talking about the excerpts until I can get a hold of the book and we can deep dive into every single piece of what happened with her music career. So yesterday we talked about her food addiction and just my thoughts about how, you know, a child's mind can't handle addiction, period, but a child's mind can't handle this industry. Let's talk about her relationship with Ariana Grande, Miranda Cosgrove, these other people who, you know, she had a relationship with Leon Thomas as well. That was not in any of the excerpts, but if you don't know who these people are, again, we're gonna just 30-second rundown. These are all people from the shows that she was on, Sam and Cat, iCarly, you know, things of that matter. Again, as a child star, you're never just one thing. You usually have to come as a complete package, and mostly everybody on Disney and Nickelodeon were musicians, and all these people are musicians. You might know Leon Thomas, the third, from stuff like August Rush or Drake music and stuff like that. You know, he's a little bit more popular, but I mean, all these people are really popular. But you know, Miranda Cosgrove was a singer. She had a nice run. Obviously, Ariana Grande being one of the biggest pop acts of this fucking generation in the fucking world at this point. She mentioned, and I'm saying she, Jennette, mentioned how she felt like her career was pushed to the side because Ariana Grande got free reign to just run around and do whatever the fuck she wanted. Was missing shows, was missing the set, was missing filming and anything. They had to put stuff off. And on the other hand, they refused to like write her out of episodes. Write Jennette out of episodes so she could go. She had features booked and all this stuff. And keep in mind, like, Jennette didn't go the pop route. She went the country route. And if you can break in the country, you know, they're not just letting anybody in over there. And she was having steam, but she wasn't able to fulfill her dreams and her obligations with that because she had to basically walk into the shadow of Ariana Grande. And my thing is, if we see how Ariana Grande acts just in the past, maybe, I don't want to say decade, but really the past 5, 6, 7 years, you can tell that Ariana Grande got some bitch to her. Like, she got some, there's been a lot of questionable things that she's done. That whole licking the donut shit, her badass fucking attitude, that whatever, that stealing from 2 Chainz and niggas basically bullying her to make 2 Chainz come get on the song, and you know, black people write all our music, all that shit is neither here nor there. Having to walk into somebody's shadow who's not even, according to public opinion and record, not even a good person. You know, that accompanied with your addiction, accompanied with your shitty home life, accompanied with those old ass kitty lovers that you have to work with, because she did mention that, and we'll talk about that when we get the book, with her, you know, all the songwriting and all that stuff. I'm surprised she didn't kill herself. I'm gonna just be honest, like, I'm gonna be for real, like, I'm just surprised she didn't kill herself, especially since her music career never materialized to what it could have been. Like I said, fresh face, beautiful girl, country music, you know, that would have been a slam dunk, knock out the park. But let's talk about how all these things put in a cauldron, heated up, is a recipe for disaster. You know, of all the people you hear about with this child star shit, you don't really hear, I never really heard, you know, you hear stuff, but because people are not as big because people are not as affluent as they could be, or as affluent as their counterparts, you know, you kind of can afford to brush it off. You can afford to, you know, ignore it in a sense. I don't even know if my mind could be able to compute that. And then, you know, the thing that played a part into it is that she mentioned, like, she was jealous of how Ariana could afford, because, again, she talked about they were poor, living in a hoarder's house, stuff like that. How Ariana is from Boca Raton in Florida, from a rich family, they can afford it. So my thing is, if Jennette missed work, that's the difference between family going back into poverty and never being able to recover. Because if you understand anything about economics and you understand anything about poverty, you know that all it takes is one small incident to snowball into something else. So you missing one day of filming can be the difference between going back into poverty and your family being okay for the month, versus somebody who comes from an affluent background, who it doesn't matter if they show up to this show or not, they're going to be okay. They're going to be able to go off and be good. Plus having that good home and support life. Having a music dream, especially as a child, because I've had musical aspirations since I was a kid myself. You know, luckily, I'm going to be for real, luckily I never made it to that point where you knew about it. You know, I was able to play the back. None of my music success came until I was an adult. Anyway, I might have had some local shit going on, but none of my music success came until I was grown and I could understand, and I was already in a good position as myself. So I already had things that I could fall back on if music wasn't the thing. This is a kid coming into this, so you don't have the opportunity. So you poor. You don't have the opportunity to go off to school or none of that shit. I mean, you could, but, you know, and people will use that, oh, you could have just went to school. Oh, you should have never expected this Ariana Grande shit to last. And who cares, you know, that they wouldn't write you out of episodes so you can go work on something else that it probably would have worked out better for her if, you mean, you know, when we think about these child stars and shit, who is a child star who was able to actually run off and have a successful music career? It's not really run off and have a successful music career and not be batshit fucking crazy. Maybe Justin Timberlake, but at the same time, that sneaky dog, like, with the whole my thing is, they all come out fucked up. I don't know one of them that doesn't come out fucked up. So it's you know, it's so much that we could really talk about with this, because I don't know. We can stop that point right there, because it's just like, you're not even able to go off and fulfill something that you might actually want. Because I would argue, again, having not read the book, but we'll read the book and we'll come back to her, you not being able to fulfill your personal goals, that only makes everything else like work, and not like good work. Like work, like, I really don't want to be here. I don't want to come here. I don't want to do this. I got to sit around this bitch that can do whatever she want. I'm playing the understudy. She was actually promised she was going to get her own show. Never fucking happened. Or actually, the show, Sam and Cat, was supposed to be hers, but they threw Ariana Grande up there. It makes all of this stuff, you know, this cauldron. That's what I'm going to probably be using throughout this series, of throwing everything in the pot. You know, it's so many points I feel like I'm missing, but again, it really don't matter, because the message here is just like, when you pair no support as a child with addiction, terrible home life, kitty lovers, goddamn, not an undeveloped brain, navigating by yourself. You know, we can keep going. There's this was a recipe for failure to begin with. This is what makes it dark, is because she had to sit around and watch as her music dreams had to go and die because they felt like, because Ariana Grande was so this, so that, she was such a big whatever, that was what everybody was going to put their money on. But again, being poor shit really comes into it, because when you poor, you're not going to have the same opportunities. When you poor, this or that, she didn't have wise counsel around her. She didn't have nobody around her. Again, the name of the book is I'm Glad My Mom Died. Niggas just straight to the motherfucking point with it. Don't even, nigga, there ain't no thrill, ain't no mystery, nothing. Then she talked about the motherfucker who was touching, just all type of shit. I don't think she was on Zoe 101. I'm gonna have to go and look. I think that was more of that teenage situation. But like, I would keep my kids away from this, just because I think I might have said it this episode, but I might have said it last episode. It's just a recipe for failure. It's a recipe for disaster. And now at 30 years old, you're going to have to go and repair your life. This shit is bubbling, booming, clicking, and ticking. This is the hottest thing that's going on right now. I don't even know what's on the fucking screen. But, we'll have to come back to it, because we can't just say everything we want to say now, because we need the rest of, I want the verifiable information so we can talk about it. And that, we can just kind of leave right there. My name is Nayim. This is the dark side of songwriting. This addiction episode was different because it was about food addiction, being starved of, no pun intended, please, being starved of actually getting to your goals and having to stand in the shadows of other motherfuckers, which, now I'm thinking about it, makes the addiction worse. It makes your addiction worse, because this is all you're going to have to lean on. This is all you're going to have to feed on. This is the only support that you have. So that is what's going to, it probably could have killed her, if in this book it doesn't say that she almost died from this shit and before. But anyway, we'll come back to it when we get the book. I will holler at you.